All right, without further ado, we have a young man I'm just excited about. And today's topic, what did it say today's topic? Learn how to build your business with what? There again, Vivint. If every Vivint customer in his county came through ACN, today we got the man, the myth, the legend out of the home office in Vivint, where? In Salt Lake City. Without further ado, the great, the one and only Mr. Anthony Miles Wood. Are you there, sir?
Thank you for having me on. Good morning. It is amazing. Look at all the faces on here. New faces, old faces, not old, but experienced faces, right? I love being able to see this team and be a part of what you guys have going on. And Mr. Thomas, those stories, that's amazing. That's amazing what that person's been able to do. It sounds like you guys have a great week lined up, and I'm proud to be able to help kick that week off. Like he said, I'm based right out of here. Let's see if you can see much. There's some mountains. We're at headquarters here in Vivint. So I am based out of Salt Lake City, just up the street from you guys who are in Vegas, but I know we're spread all over the US on this call. So today we're going to go through and have a little bit of fun, talk about how people have built their business with Vivint, because a lot of people have done so, right? Whether they've hit ETL quicker than ever, whether they hit RD, they're looking at like half their points are coming out of Vivint, or whether they hit RVP and their team is just humming with this product. This is a great opportunity for you guys to be able to build your business quicker than ever. And leaders love it because not only do you not have to do this on your own, right? We're not expecting, my job here today, ladies and gentlemen, is not to make you each Vivint expert salesmen and women. I'm here to just show you how easy this can be, because that's one of the benefits, is that you have a whole team ready to push this and help do all the heavy lifting and answer the hard questions for you. And then they stay with you. On average, your guys' customers are over 10 years strong. That means you're doing 10 to 15 minutes of work, you're getting your 8 points, and you're seeing that for a decade and getting paid on it. So it really is an amazing opportunity here. And as we go through, shoot your questions into the chat. Hopefully I can answer a lot of those as we go through. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the product today. I'm going to tell you some stories that I've heard around each product from those in the field, from ones that I've experienced. And I highly recommend you at the end of this call, if you don't or haven't gotten your own Vivint story already, go get one. It doesn't need to be a life-saving one. It doesn't have to be the best one you've heard, but if you have one, it makes a difference. So remember that as we go through. But let me get this popped up here. I apologize. There we go. So as I go through, again, ask those questions in the chat. I'm going to talk to you about some of the product here today, but also, again, what this can do for your ACN business. If you have maybe some personal questions about your own personal system or something of that nature, please, you can email me, take a screenshot real quick. If you don't already have my email, I'm happy to help. Our team is willing to go above and beyond to make sure that you and your customers are taken care of the right way, because that's what we know, right? These customers are coming in and they're not just a one-time done, right? These are people in your community. These are teammates. And if they're not, they're future team members, right? As they start to understand what you guys have here in ACN, but we want them to have a white glove service. So make sure that you are calling in with them and they're coming into our dedicated ACN team to make sure that they're getting the service, the treatment, and the discounts that you guys are offered, because not everybody gets the discounts that you guys get through ACN, right? We have some fun here. Constantly, you can see month by month. And if you want to know more about what promotions or whatever's going on within each product, not just Vivint, make sure you visit ACN Compass, go to product news. But remember, 8 points for a whole service. Now, if somebody decides, hey, you know what, I just need the DIY, right? The do it yourself, or they're going to install it on their own, whether they didn't qualify, whether they wanted something a little bit more simple, allow our agents internally to make that decision, because you want what's best for them and you want the most points and what's best for your business. And so if you go in and tell people about the DIY system, you're doing yourself a disservice, because they may want and need the full system, but now you've got them hooked on something else. So pitch the full system, let them understand what it has to offer. And I'm going to go through all the details here today, but either way, you're getting points. Now, if you as a teammate or a team leader, if you get somebody new in the business, please do yourself and them a favor. Take them through the process of getting a Vivint service. I don't care if they don't plan on getting one, if they can't get one, or if they say they don't want one. Reason I want you to take them through is so that they can understand how easy and simple this process can be, because until they know that, they get a little overwhelmed. I've talked to people who've been in the business for a few months and they're like, I haven't gotten my Vivint service yet. Can you please explain more? I just can't answer everybody's questions. And I'm like, you're not supposed to answer everybody's questions, right? You're supposed to get them interested that they're asking those questions, and then you get them on the phone. And so as you go through and do that, understand our team is there between, we're going to go Pacific time. They're going to be there from 5 a.m. all the way until 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. So they're there all day to help answer the questions, take them through this. Now, realize when you run into people who have a system or they're trying to understand what Vivint has compared to what they have, there's so many things that Vivint offers. It's incredible, right? It's always an upgrade. One thing you should know is if someone has a service and it's not Vivint, not only should you be excited, but you should also understand that this is going to be easier. What I mean by easier is they already see the value of having some sort of a system. They've already taken the time, the energy to go out and to get something that's going to protect their family and their home. Now, is it the best thing? Maybe not. And that's where you come in, because Vivint's always an upgrade. So you have to ask them about their situation. Why did they get it? What were they looking for in it? Did something prompt them in the neighborhood, whether it was some sort of incident where someone was broken into, or was this a new neighborhood, or did you just hear it from a friend? Find out why they got the system, and then how they use it, and what they enjoy about it. Naturally, as humans, they're going to talk about something that doesn't work, or they wish that it could work better, right? If they do that, very easy transition to Vivint. But if they have nothing but positive things to say, hey, you know what? There's a lot of other companies out there, a lot of people that are in your position, didn't know much about Vivint, but once we got them on the phone, they actually ended up switching over. Now, just a quick story about a lady I just met out in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, last week. She came up to me and said, Anthony, for the longest time, I had a neighbor, there's two neighbors. I had one neighbor who was kind of boxing me out from getting this other neighbor set up with Vivint because she had ADT. Forgive me for mentioning names. She had a security provider. And I finally went over, and the way that I was able to get them switched was I had just got my system about 3 weeks ago. And I went over on my phone and I started showing off the differences. And I told her, hey, I just want to see the difference between your ADT system and my Vivint system. Now, of course, up until this point, she was trying to refer something that she didn't have and that other people already had the system together. So when she started sharing that, the lady who originally was boxing her out from getting her neighbor, because they were friends, called her neighbor to come over to the house. And all three of them sat there and were looking at the app on their phone. Both of them switched that day. It was amazing to hear the story, because simply she showed her system off. She stopped trying to talk about why they needed to switch and all that, and she showed why she loved her system. Understand that goes a long way when you have your stories, and you can see here that there is going to be something that these other providers are missing in some sort of sense, right? So as I go through, remember, there are a lot of products. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the products individually, what they do, and why people have benefited from them, along with some of the stories from the field. Now, remember, these are all, you can make them yours. You want to be able to have your own, and want to make sure that whatever you're talking to fits what your customers' needs and wants are. So first, the Vivint Smart Hub. This is the panel, guys. This is where the magic happens when Vivint comes in with our panel. The difference between us and other companies is we don't take any shortcuts to try and give them a lesser system to save them maybe a couple bucks a month. What I mean by that is our panel is top of the line. When that alarm goes off and is triggered, most companies are going to call you on your cell phone, which people are like, yeah, that sounds great, that works, until it happens. And they realize in the middle of an emergency, whether it's a break-in, whether it's a fire, medical emergency, It doesn't matter. They're not looking to answer their phone and talk to a security company about what's going on. They could just call 911. But if you're also not home, you don't know what's going on. And so all those go down as a unconfirmed or unverified alarm if we cannot get a hold of you and you say, yes, this is happening. Now, Vivint changed the game. We don't do that. Within 8 seconds, we come through this panel. We come through this panel over a two-way speaker. It's like OnStar for your car. And when we come through the panel, we're saying, hey, Mr. Thomas, is everything okay? What's going on in the home? Can I please verify your first, last name, and your password? Now, if you don't have, if somebody's there and they don't have the password, I apologize. Could be a family member, could be anybody. If they were trying to talk through that panel that Mr. Thomas is showing you right there, and they don't have that password, that goes down as a confirmed or a verified alarm, right? Now, Mr. Thomas could also set up a distress or a duress code so that if somebody is there, he says this code and Vivint knows, okay, somebody's in the home. We have to make sure and pretend like everything's okay. Great, Mr. Thomas, hope all is well. Have a great rest of your day. Where in fact, they're feeding the audio to the police or coming in with their lights off. So we do a lot to make sure that your family and your home is protected. Now that you love it how Mr. Thomas is showing it off. That's the same thing that you get in an apartment, in a home, in a rental, in a business. We do businesses as well. Everybody's getting the same panel and the same standard of protection, right? We don't cut any corners there. Mr. Thomas, thank you for showing that off. I absolutely love it. Now, here's a quick
Introducing the
video.
Vivint Smart Hub, an all-in-one control center for your entire smart home.
Girls, let's go. Okay, coming.
It lets you see and speak through all your connected cameras and manage all the smart products in your home, like lighting and security, from a single place. And if there is an emergency, our 24/7 monitoring team is standing by to get you the help that you need.
Miss Jetson, is everything okay? We're fine. We're just bringing some cookies.
Want a Vivint Smart Hub in your home? Talk to a Smart Home Pro today.
So a funny story about that panel. Out in Jersey, there was a leader who had the system in her home, and her daughter came over with her friends from college, and her mother wasn't home. They went inside and the alarm started going off, and the daughter was like, oh, it's my mom's system. I don't know the password. Hold on, I'm gonna try and get it. And they gave her about 20 seconds, Vivint did. And I said, okay, if you can't tell us the password in the next 20 seconds, we're dispatching the police, because we don't know if that's your daughter or not. Anybody could be saying that's their family member. So police show up. I get a call from the leader. She was not frustrated. She was flustered, but was excited to tell me, Anthony, your system, it works too good, is what she said. They wouldn't allow my daughter to be able to just tell her that it was her. They sent the police showed up, and it was just a whole mess. She started laughing about it, but was so grateful that she could see her system work the way it needed to. It made her peace of mind really, for her, not only for her, but for her daughter and for her friends that came over. She ended up getting one of her friends to talk about it with their parents because she wanted it at their family's home. So again, I want you to realize not only these stories, sometimes comical, they're real life stories, but when they start being told and people start seeing them, most of these stories come with a customer or two after the fact. So understand that, again, facts tell, stories sell. So when you're telling a story, it's doing a lot more than you just showing what it does. Now, this Vivint Doorbell Camera Pro, by far my favorite, because it does a lot of different things. One of my favorite ones, and it was back when I first got it. It was right around Halloween, right? And we put a little bowl of candy out there, and people were coming up, and if I saw them take more than one candy, I was immediately, I said one candy, and they started looking around, drop the candy, take off. They didn't even want the candy anymore, right? They said no more candy. I had parents peeking around the door, the wall right there, to see who it was that was scaring their kid. I had a great time with it, right? Forgive me. I enjoyed myself. But those are the stories that people want to hear and see. And also the doorbell, when you pull it up, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this here. But when you pull it up on your phone, it has all of these recordings, right? Oh, you can see it very well. So when I click on here, it goes in and it shows me all of my recordings. So any funny story, anything that happens, I simply slide this. I can delete it or I can share it. It's just that easy. And leaders have done this. You've seen leaders. There was one leader who had a story of his daughter coming home from school. He placed it like a nice gentleman walked his daughter home. And when they got to the door, he was like, hey, is it okay if I come in for a minute? Now, nobody was home. The daughter felt a little, no, I think. And he's like, well, just be for a second. Father came right over the doorbell camera saying, hey, thank you. You don't need to go inside. You can go back to your house. I appreciate you walking my daughter home, right? It gave the parent peace of mind again. And he was able to share that. So this doorbell camera will watch your packages. It will beep at people if they try and come up and take your package. And then everything is recorded right there on your phone. Makes it extremely easy for you to be able to share and show. Again, find your own reason why. Find why these customers, why your neighbors would love this. It may not be for their kids because they may not have any, but they may have packages that get delivered. Maybe they have some sort of a medical situation where it's hard for them to get up and go to the door and go back and forth quickly to be able to answer it so they can see it from their phone. Maybe they do have, people that are coming over to help take care of their children, their pets when they're not home. Vivint doorbell camera will be able to show when they're coming in and out, right? And the Pro does very similar things. You can talk through both of these. You have infrared vision. You're able to maneuver it as well. So you can actually change the angle if you wanted to manually out there on the camera. But again, this one will beep and deter people. One of the best things, and I've shown videos in this before, of people going up, trying to unlock doors, getting into cars. And these cameras are not waiting until someone breaks into your home to try and protect you. They're beeping really loud, letting people know that they're being recorded, and you see them go running from all the cars, right? Now, those are the stories of safety. They're also the stories of like when Mr. Aaron Burt posted on his Facebook feed of him trying to walk from his door all the way to his car. And by the time he hit his driveway, he was on his butt, right? He went right there, Baltimore. He had a little ice on the snow, under the snow, slid, hit not just once, but not twice, but 3 separate times. He went down again and again and again. And he posted that story. There were thousands of likes, hundreds of comments, plenty of shares, all because this is why people use the system every day, right? This type of a story is what people want to hear, because in reality, they want to know what it is on the day-to-day basis that you find value in. People get security and they want the peace of mind. And then after a month, 2 months, they stop arming it because they've set it off. They don't feel like it's going to do anything. But if they're using it every day, like Vivint's system, whether it's outdoor, indoor cameras, or whether it's the doorbell camera, they're using it every day, so they see the value. Now, the indoor ping, guys, same thing. You can move it around, has infrared vision, you can use it as like a baby monitor at night. People will use this. They'll talk to their babies, and then they'll move it into their maybe main area to be able to talk to whoever's there, whether it's kids, babysitter, grandparents. Now, story for this one was there was a team out in Ohio, and there was a lady whose father was living by himself, an older gentleman. Nobody was there as far as family wise. He had health issues. He ended up falling and had to go to the hospital, and the hospital was not going to release him until one of two things happened. Either he had hospice care, so people were coming into his home, taking care of him, making sure that he was all right, or he went to a retirement home. Now, a lot of us understand, like, hey, people want to enjoy their own home, the comfortability of being in their own home. And it's hard to go find whoever it is that's going to be coming into your family member's home when nobody else is there, and hopefully doing a really good job and not doing anything strange or not correct, right? So instead of taking all that money and paying somebody to come in, they got cameras. They got 2 cameras inside, and they got 2 cameras outside. They were able to see the front and back. They had one right there where he was sitting all the time, and then they had one in his bedroom so that they could hear and see in case he had any emergency. And they were able to release him. So he stayed right there in the comfort of his own home. There were 3 separate kids that all had access on their phone so that they could click in, see their father, talk to him through the camera, and he felt comforted as well, knowing that his kids were basically right there being able to talk to him at any given time. They even said they got annoyed of it at times because there's a button on the top of the ping camera, and their father would ping it because he wanted to talk. And they were like, hey, is everything okay? Yeah. And they would just start telling stories, right? Because he wanted to enjoy those conversations. Now, they appreciated having the ability to be able to do that, right? And same thing, you can do it with kids, right? If they have babysitters, if your kids are there at the home and they want to call you, you can push that button and call directly to your phone. Okay. Now, a couple last things here before I open up for a quick Q&A for those of you who have any more questions. The smart lock. This is a great one. I've heard so many stories that I can't even count on how people have used this and how this has helped them, whether it was from allowing people inside their home, giving their keys, or sorry, no keys, giving a code to their kids instead of keys. There's a leader who said he probably half the neighborhood has a key to his house because of how many times he had to replace his kid's key from them losing it, right? So he was able to give a code. Not only that, but if you have dog sitters or people who are coming to clean the home, you can give them a code. You can delete their code as soon as they're done, but when they push that code in, it'll unlock the door, disarm the system, notify you, and then they're free to move around in the home. And when they leave, they simply push that lock button, it'll lock the door, and you can customize it so it'll automatically arm your system, right? This is extremely easy for people to be able to utilize and take full. Airbnbs, this is great, right? You don't have to show up. People are able to use this as a new way to, hey, the people who've been there for a week, they just left, delete their code, make a new code for the people who are showing up tomorrow. That way you don't have to worry about them losing, making another key. You don't have to show up to the house to give them the key. It's completely at the will of the owner to be able to do it from wherever they want. And then again, the thermostat, this saves you guys 10% or more on your electricity bill. You want to talk to somebody about how they want to try and save some money? Here's an easy way to do it right here through Vivint. Not only that, but you're able to use this to create customized settings, whether you're home, whether you're away. You can have vacation mode, you can have night mode, you can have stay mode. There's so many different ways for you to customize this where your air and heat is set at the right temperature at all times. Now, again, all of this is information for you guys to be able to utilize to help talk about this. Again, you don't have to go through like I did and talk about every product and go through the details. What I want you to do is I want you to find what benefits you the most. As you talk to people, you will be able to see why they would want to benefit. And if you can show why you love your system, it's going to naturally, they're going to start to picture themselves using it. And then they're going to start to ask a couple of questions as you start to show your system off, right? They're going to say, okay, how does it work? What does it look like? But the number one question you're going to get while you're showing your system is, how much does it cost? Great question. The nice thing is I customize my system for myself. My home, my family, we had different wants, different needs. Your situation is probably going to be a little different than mine. So let's call into Vivint. I have an expert here. It'll take them 5 to 10 minutes and they'll build you your own system and you'll know exactly how much it's going to be. Hold on one second. Matter of fact, this is where you call, right? And if you don't have this number, I would highly recommend that you save this in your phone right now. But as you start to call, this is where you can mention any additional promos that are going on, right? Because there are always some promos. Right now is one of the best promos that you will see for the customer. You have buy one camera, get an outdoor pro free. Do you understand that is $400 that they are saving by coming through you and AC? And they don't have this. If they called into Vivint's main line, they're not saving $400 on this system. This is one of the best. So take full advantage because not only are they going to get an outdoor pro camera free, but they're also going to get a month of monitoring as well. Guys, that is over a $450 value for some people. That is a tremendous amount of savings. Take full advantage of this promo. And you can see the promo code here. If you can't see it, it is ACN Summer. ACN Summer is the promo. And guys, I'm telling you right now, it is going to help them see why ACN and Vivint are such good synergistic partners. But even better than that, for you as an IBO, I talked to somebody just a couple of weeks ago, again, out in Baltimore. If you missed it, I apologize. We had a great time. I know some of you guys showed up. Don't miss the next one right out there, whether it's in Cleveland or it's going to be out there in Florida. Don't miss them. There are always amazing stories, amazing things going on. And I had somebody come up and tell me that they already had 4 gift cards that Vivint was going to be sending them for customers that they got this last $400. That's 32 points. And that's a huge bonus check for them from ACN. Guys, take advantage. Don't be the person that misses out on this $100 Visa gift card for any IBO that refers somebody over and that they take advantage of that promotion. They just need to get those 2 cameras right, get a $500 almost discount on their system, and then you're getting $100 as well. So take advantage. This is a huge opportunity. It ends on the last day of the month. So you have just over about a week and a half to be able to take advantage of this. I challenge each of you not to just look for yourself, but to help your teammates see and to go out and be able to grow in their ACN business. Because once that momentum starts going, guys, it's hard to stop it, right? Things in motion tend to stay in motion, all right? Physics 101. So make sure that we are getting that movement through the summer here. Now, again, I know I went through a lot today. There are plenty more stories, and you guys have some amazing leaders here that have shared their stories as well. But before we go, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to open it up if that's okay. We can take maybe 3 or 4 quick questions here. Again, if it's something a little more personal for your sake and you don't want to share it, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to talk to you on another one. But if you have questions, either raise your hand, come off mute, submit it in the chat. I'm going to take a look here and see if there are any questions. All I see are great things about people love their Vivint system, how they can arm it from the phone. You can let the dog sitters in, the code, how easy it was to give it to their daughter. Oh, Marla Blake, go ahead and unmute yourself and let's see if we can answer the question here.
Hi, Anthony.
Good morning.
Good morning. My question is, if someone has moved from one location to another and they take their equipment with them and have it installed at the new location, is that new service or is that a do-it-yourself?
No, good question. So if somebody was to move from, let's say, an apartment or even a home and they move to another location, they have all their equipment with them, they take it there, Vivint will come out and install that system for them. Now, if you, Marla, were the person who maybe helped set this person up originally in their home, and then they go to move, when they reinstall it, you're not losing your points, but you're also not gaining any more new points, right? That customer's still active, you're still getting paid for it. As long as they're paying and it's the same person who owns it, you're getting paid as well. So they can call Vivint, they can install it for them. It does not make it a do-it-yourself. Good question.
Thank you.
Question, no problem. Thank you for asking. You guys can keep going. I'll keep unmuting. I'm just going to keep looking through some of these. I don't see any. Oh, can I get Vivint in an apartment? Great question. Yes, you can. And the exciting thing, and one thing about apartments that people really don't or they forget, is they say, hey, I'm in an apartment, I don't really need it at the moment. Well, to the contrary, I have actually seen that if you're in an apartment, you have more people walking past and in front and around your door than you would if you were at a home and you don't know these people, right? I had somebody that lived in an apartment and they dropped a package off at their front door. The Vivint doorbell camera was recording. Their neighbor came out and you could see, it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for the neighbor because you could see them looking around. They picked up the package. They went inside with the package. The person went to him later and said, hey, I had a package that get delivered and I was looking on my camera and I wanted to see if you knew what happened. Like, oh yeah, I grabbed it for you so that it wouldn't be stolen. I would believe them, except for when they brought the package back out, it was already opened. Oh my gosh, guys. Imagine that though. In an apartment, you don't know who took it. There's so many people. You see who it is. They brought it back. They got their package. Everything worked out, but it was already open, right? I was a little embarrassed, like I said, but you can absolutely get your Vivint system in an apartment. And when you go somewhere, we're moving with you. So good question. So if you did not originally help that customer, somebody asked, and they wanted to move and they moved their system, you still would not get the points unless they had canceled their system and it wasn't going and they had their equipment there, they just hadn't used it. And then when they move, if they take their equipment, you could call in with them to our Vivint sales team and say, hey, they have this equipment, they haven't, they canceled their system a while ago and they want to get it set back up. Now you could then get the points for that. 100% you would get those points, right? Anytime that you're helping somebody get the service or activate their service, even if they've already had the equipment in the past and they've canceled, you will get credit for that. But if the person has a Vivint system, it's active, they're paying for it, then of course you can use them as a center of influence, because a lot of people who have the Vivint system love the Vivint system. So you're able to say, hey, what do you love about it? Could you do me a favor? I'm trying to help protect 3 families just like yourself by the end of this week or the end of this month. It's going to help me and my business, but also I want to help the community. Do you know 3 people who would benefit from having something like that? Let them start asking a question. And if they say, oh, I can't think of anybody. Do you know anybody who has kids? Anybody who just moved into a new home, new neighborhood? Anybody who wants to save some money on their homeowner's insurance? Do you know anybody who has pets? Right? Help give them help jog their brain, because sometimes when you get put on the spot, you forget, you go blank. So help jog their memory of that. Good question there. What if a business closed? Doesn't that equipment belong to you? Yes. So it is all your if you were to get the Vivint system and you cancel, that's all your equipment. If you move into a home that has Vivint equipment and you move into that home, that equipment's yours too. So you definitely can. Sorry, there's a few questions in here that are going through. So let me just real quick read a few of them, make sure there's no, I'm selling one of my properties where I have Vivint. Do I take it myself or add new owner takeover? So good question. So Anita, I'm going to tell you there's 2 ways. You can either take it yourself, or if you want and you know who's going to be getting your home and you want them to take it over, you would need to cancel that service. And then you would have to call in and set it up under that new person's name, right? The reason you don't just change, hey, I own the system, this person's going to take it over, is because you will not get credit, right? Because technically the owner of the system changed, but the system was already active and being paid for. Does that make sense? So you have to cancel the service that you own. And then when your new homeowner moves in there, say, hey, because you're getting my home, everything's in here, you're going to save thousands of dollars on the equipment. When you're ready to go, I'm just going to call with you on a 3-way call. I'm going to tell them my promo code, and you're going to be able to get an amazing deal on this system. And it's going to be about a 10-minute phone call. And then they'll go through, set the new system up, call somebody to activate the system. If you want to know more, if that did not make as much sense, please email me directly. I'm going to put my email in here and we can go through it again. But yes, you want to cancel your service if you own it yourself and you're trying to get the new homeowner so that you can get that credit. I just put my email in the chat. There's a few more questions in here. You guys are going in today. I didn't do a good job, or I did a good one that you're digging deep to figure out more. If you're living in an apartment, do you get the need a landlord's permission to get Vivint? Yes, you do. So Vivint doesn't require you to put it on have it in writing, but obviously if you don't own the home or if you don't own the apartment, you'd want to make sure that it's okay. Tell them, hey, anything that comes in, it's a wireless system. We do just need power. They'll drill one tiny little hole, similar to like if you were to hang something in the wall. When Vivint comes out to uninstall it, they'll just hurry and put some put some drywall right over it, or some plaster there, and then that way some mud, so you're good to go. But it's really easy to get that. Apartments and landlords, they love Vivint system because a lot of times when they go to move out, they actually want the system there because it saves them 10% on their homeowner's insurance. It increases the value of their property, and it gives them the ability to know what's going on around their home. Come out and install, move, continue. Yep. So you can sometimes use different equipment. If you have equipment with another partner, or sorry, another company, Vivint will try and utilize the security of that equipment. That means motion sensors, door sensors, window sensors, things like that. Cameras, we don't take over cameras. If they have something that's like a smart lock or some Z-Wave, Z as in zebra, wave compatible stuff, we'll integrate that as we can. Again, remember, always don't promise that it's 100% going to be able to be taken over, because maybe they have faulty equipment. Maybe it is really old and needs to be replaced. So call in and Vivint will take through that. Can you define DIY? Do it yourself, Vivint Essentials, or Vivint Essentials, right? There's a few different ways, but do it yourself. What happens is if somebody fails to be able to finance at 0%, right? They still want to get started. They still want to get their home protected. This DIY is going to be the way to go. They're going to pay a few $100s up front. They can do it over 3 months if they want. And then what will happen is they don't get the full system. They only get to choose between either an indoor camera or a doorbell camera. They can choose which one they want. And then that original package comes with some security pieces, so some door sensors, the panel, and then a couple other sensors as well. Now, anything more that they want above that, they would have to pay out of pocket full price for. But again, the reason that we have this is so that any people who are now coming into the business who don't qualify, want to get it, they can still get the app on their phone, they can still talk about it, and they can still get their stories from. So good questions there. I think any promo codes for IBOs who would like to start using the app to open the garage with Army promo codes. So the promo codes that I just gave out, ACN Summer is the promo code going right now. It's for a buy one camera, get an Outdoor Pro free and 1 month of free monitoring. Now, if they want to be able to do that with their system, they can still get those additional pieces included and get the app on there. And then they would be able to open and close the garage along with arm and disarm the system as well. So, and then Patricia, if you'll do me a huge favor, I know that you had something specific there about a business that you've been trying to get. Can you please email me and we'll connect later? I just want to make sure that we utilize everybody's time here. And I know we've gone a little bit longer than normal. You guys have been active here. I love it. I enjoy it. And hopefully we can do this in person soon. But for now, I'm taking advantage of this. I can see all your smiling faces on here. So, Mr. Thomas, I think I'm going to turn this back over to you unless there's anything else. Again, I appreciate what you do as a leader and having the system, showing it off, being able to talk about it. It's amazing to see. I know this is why, Mr. Thomas, you've been so dang successful within this business, is because not only do you care about the people, but you are a leader in how you do things, not just talk about things. So thank you for having me on, Mr. Thomas.